let's try again, shall we? Can you hear me now, Jackie? That is the question. Let's actually bring in the device that I am using for sound. So let me just recap. Hopefully you can now hear me. Um, And if you can, good morning. My name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK. So, as I quickly flashed up just now, this is my website. This is where you can find out lots more about me. Head over to www.loveaduckie.co.uk, but also look out for me as Love-a-Duckie anywhere that you go onto your social medias, YouTube, Instagram, done that one, Facebook, Pinterest, all of those places, and you'll find me under Love-a-Duckie. And I was just telling you about the sale, and the sale ends today. So that's important information to get out there. So we have a seasonal sale on, and it ends today. So you've got until 10:59 here UK time to get onto the online store and check out that seasonal sale and all of those products at 10%, 15%, and even 20% off. So it is things from the annual catalogue, and it is stamp sets, it is punches, it is dies, it is DSP, it is embossing folders, all of the really good stuff. And you can find all of that on the online store. So do head over and check out that sale, tick a few things off your wish list while you can get them at a reduced price. And if you are on the fence or considering becoming a member of the family, then what better time, because you can stuff your starter kit full of sale items and get even more value. So that £130 worth of product of your choice for £99 can be £130 worth of product at sale prices for £99. So you can be saving yourself an extra 20%, 15%, 10% on those items in your basket. So a fabulous time to join the family. So don't miss out on that. And a quick look at upcoming classes. We've got Saturday Stampers tomorrow. We're going to be doing some Christmas stuff, lots of Christmas stuff coming up. We've got a mega stamper stack. That's next week. The following week is the evening stamper stack. And then heading into December, we've got some thank you in a box classes. There's one in the daytime there, and there's one evening one scheduled there. We've got a Bottle for Happiness project class, where we're going to have a wonderful kit of products and make 5 lovely projects using that Bottled Happiness kit. And then we've got a Christmas completely crackers crafty Christmas games night. So that's one that's on Zoom. So wherever you are in the UK, come and join us for a fun evening on Friday, December the 2nd at 7 p.m. So lots of things there to look forward to, and you'll be able to find all of those over on my website. So do head over and check that out. Let's come on back up here for one moment, just to say hello, because I think when I said hello the first time round, I was silent. But yes, so great to have you with me on this Friday morning. And I think without further ado, we really ought to get into a little bit of crafting. So let's bring in our downward facing camera and have a little look at what we're going to be playing with today. So quick slurp of water. I think I've caught some sort of a coldy bug, probably on planes and airports and things while I was away. So excuse me if I'm a little bit croaky and a little bit sniffly. So Lights Aglow is the sweets that we're going to have a bit of a play with today. Now we're combining it with two things. So this is a big bumper sweet. There's 2 stamp sets in this sweet. There's DSP, DSP, and I don't know why that camera is flashing. We have some DSP, and we have glimmer card, and we have some festive foils. So lots going on in that beautiful sweet, as well as pearls and ribbons and all sorts of things. We're going to be playing with some of this suite because we are going to combine this gorgeous suite. And if I flick over, you'll be able to see the stamp sets in a bit more detail. And there's dies that go with them. And here's the other stamp set, which is a sentiment stamp set. And again, there's dies to go with them. So really beautiful. I don't know whether this is juddery for you or whether it is just my view of it here that is being a little bit pickly this morning. Hopefully it is running smoothly for you, your end. So we have 2 stamp sets, 2 sets of dies. We're not actually going to be using the dies today because we are going to be using this suite of products in combination with a challenge that I am doing, that I'm going to try and complete. And the challenge requires us to use some soft succulent, some evening evergreen, and gold. So those are the colours, and it is a challenge that is to make cards without using any die cutting. So without using any of the die cutting machines, any of those sorts of things, just punches we can use. But other than that, stamps and pretty papers and all of those sorts of things. So we are going to use the stamp sets along with some of the fabulous papers from this suite, and some inks and various other things to create a couple of cards. Now, this Christmas lights stamp, as you can see, you've got a gorgeous tree in here. You've got a beautiful big snowflake and a smaller snowflake down here, a little star, a few little snowy bits, and a couple of beautiful banners. So one is sort of more like a dotty lights banner and the other one is a star banner. So some lovely images in there. And then you've got this wonderful sentiment set with lots of different sentiments in it. All is merry and bright, 'tis the season, happy new year. That's a good useful stamp. To you and yours is Christmas, this beautiful big merry Christmas, wishing you a season of hope and light, season's greetings, happy holidays, hoping your Christmas shines bright with the love of family and friends. So some really nice sentiments. So we've got those 2 stamp sets we're going to be drawing on. These 2 die sets we're not going to be using this morning, but they are beautiful. And if you do have a die cutting machine, I'm sure that you will find lots to do with those. And we are going to be having a bit of a play with these at our Saturday Stampers class tomorrow. And we shall be using the dies then. I've picked out some of the festive foils. So I have picked out the soft succulent one. Alongside soft succulent, there is also what they call gold, which is quite a yellowy sort of yellow with gold. Morning, Lisa. A yellowy paper with gold foiling on it. And then there's this beautiful cherry cobbler paper with gold foiling. But we're just picked out the soft succulent one for now, which is just here. And you can see that that's a soft succulent paper with like a soft succulent foiling on it. Really pretty with all of these snowflakes in. I've picked out a couple of the colours of the glimmer card. So I've got the evening evergreen and the gold. And the other colour in that pack is a very vanilla glimmer paper, which is beautiful. But for now, I've picked out the gold. I've just got some gold foil there. We might not necessarily use all this. I've just got my options. I've got the festive pearls here. So you can see you've got these beautiful pearls in cherry cobbler, in soft succulent, in silver and in gold. They're really pretty. We've got those on standby, and I've picked up a pack of the Lights Aglow DSP. Now, this is just beautiful paper. It's got gold foiling on it, lots of lovely patterns. Obviously, won't be using the cherry cobbler today, but you've got evening evergreen and soft succulent. You've got those lovely Christmas trees. That is upside down, but you've got all of those Christmas trees, this sort of bokeh effect papers, dots and swirls, and lots of foiling on there. Just beautiful papers, some very vanillas, again with foiling, soft succulent. These lovely sort of frames are really gorgeous. This one's like a big tree of dots, like a wintry tree. Got stars and things on the back there. So really beautiful papers, and then you've got these black ones which are quite dramatic, aren't they? Rather beautiful. So we'll have a bit of a play now. I think I might grab out some of these frames which are rather beautiful. I quite like, this is a beautiful paper, but that green on the back there is rather nice. Let's see how we go from there. So we've got some gold foil there, some gold glimmer card. I've got a bit of soft succulent there. Let's pop these to one side and we'll have a little look at what we're going to do. I have got some gold embossing powder because we can do a bit of heat embossing. See you later, Jackie. Right, let's create ourselves a soft succulent card base. So as always, we're going to cut in half, score in half. And we're cutting in half and scoring in half this way. And we'll take, oh, not scoring in half because our score blade appears to have gone AWOL. It's obviously fallen out somewhere as I've been busying around. I will no doubt come across that in a while. So if you don't have a score blade on your trimmer, you can quite easily fold it in half and rest both ends up against that top bit. And I'm just going to use my foam folder to burnish that fold. So we folded it in half without the aid of the score blade. I shall be scrabbling around, shall be found scrabbling around on the floor once we finish this, while I try to discover where that has gone. What shall we have on the top here? Shall we go for a little bit of this paper? I rather like that pattern. And we're going to cut this at 10 meters by 14.4. I did put a new blade, cutting blade, in my trimmer the other day, so whether I slightly dislodged my scoring blade while I was doing it, and it's fallen out as I've been moving it around. So we'll have some of that paper just there. I'm going to cut out one of these frames. Let's have a look. My thought is that we would have one of these sentiments in the center of it. We have all is merry and bright. Now we're going to go circular or square. I think I might go square. Now these papers are 6 inches square, or I think it's 15.1. I'm just going to use my inch on my trimmer and cut it at 3 inches. And there we have a circular one, but at 3 inches too. So here we have a nice frame without having to do any die cutting or anything. Got quite a nice little frame just there. Might trim it slightly this side. It looks as if it just needs a smidge that side. It's not quite square, but that is looking better balanced in terms of where those snowflakes and stars and things come. So there we have square. Shall we go glimmer? Let's go glimmer card. Now, having just put a new blade in my trimmer, I could swap out and put my old blade back, but I'm just going to use my guillotine, I think, just to cut these glimmer cards down. Because of the glitter on it, glimmer card can be a little bit heavy on your blades. I've got a smidge of glimmer card there to give us a bit more gold. That's rather pretty. Bring in this stamp set just here. This all is merry and bright. Just here for a moment. Let's bring in some Versamark. Now I've got my little embossing kit here, and this also is in the mini catalogue. So you get your little tray, you get an embossing buddy, you get these fab tweezers that stay shut until you squeeze them. So they're like reverse tweezers, and this lovely little brush. Now, because I decant my embossing folder into boxes, I don't necessarily scatter it off into the tray. The thing that I find these trays incredibly useful for is things like sequins. So you can tip out your pot of sequins into this tray, sort through them, and then undo the cap and tip them back into your little pot. It makes those sorts of jobs so much easier. But on this occasion, I probably won't be using my tray for my embossing powder, but of course that is what it is designed for, so you absolutely can use that tray for your embossing powder. But a lovely little kit that would make quite a nice little present for a crafty friend this Christmas, if you're looking for ideas. Or indeed, you might like it as a present for you if other people are looking for ideas. And if there's any way that I can help you with Christmas shopping, if you want to direct people in my direction to want to give me a list of things that you would like and then direct people to me to help them fulfill your wish list, then that is always more than fine. Or if you're looking for gift vouchers for anybody, also feel free to reach out. So there we are, we've stamped that all is merry and bright in Versamark and scattered on some gold embossing powder. And then let me just find my heat embossing gun. I'll just let that heat up a moment. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this with these tweezers. How cool is that? No burnt fingers, no paper flying all over the desk. Give it a bit of a waft and away we go. So we have all is merry and bright on there. Now, I think what I am going to do with that glitter card, I'm going to take this punch and I'm going to punch it out of the middle. I don't necessarily want it right now. Neither do I want to waste that card underneath there. Okay, right. This is the other. I might bring that in. Let's trim that down to 14.4. Just like that. Stick around in my ribbons one moment after look what we would like to use. Got a ribbon there that appears to have gone missing. I'll have a look for that. Got some evening evergreen there. I've got some of this shimmery soft succulent. I've got a bit of gold, but I don't think it's quite the right sort of gold. It might come. With a bit of a bow of evening evergreen. That looks quite nice. Let's stick this together. I'm going to start with these bottom layers. We're using this evening evergreen with the sort of very vanilla and soft succulent snowflakey images on the back there. And then we're going to switch this round. So if we were conserving paper, I could have cut this into strips and swung the middle strip round. But I've been a bit decadent and used a second strip just there. Now I'm going to put some liquid adhesive around the edge of this mat so that it will stick to that glimmer card. And the glimmer card is not always easy to stick to, and of course our paper on the top we did heat emboss, so that's giving it a little bit of a warp. So what I'm going to do is come in with my E block, I think, and list that on the top there. Just give that a good press down so that that is adhering that glue to that glimmer card. I think we'll add a few dimensionals under there. The big ones seem to go walkabouts. I don't quite know where they go to, but that's okay. We'll use small ones. Sort of adding that layer, bridging the two pieces, the paper and the card. Let's take those off. Oh, just lost the lid of my glue in the bin. We don't want to do that. So let's bring this back in here. Are we going to go on a jaunty angle? I think so. I do like a bit of a jaunty angle. Then we'll bring in this bow and some glue dots. And add that little bow just here. Have a little bit of a fiddle with it. And let's bring in some of these pearls. And I think we're going to stick with gold. We'll have a few gold pearls round and about. So that is simply making the most of those beautiful papers, letting them do the work. Let me just cut myself an insert to go inside. So I have that. I'm going to come down to 13.9, I think. 13.9 by 9.5. Go on the inside. What we could have done is retained a little bit of that paper to stick on there. What I'll do instead is just take a little bit of gold glimmer and we'll add that inside instead to give that a really wow, opulent look. So there's one little card, and the only stamping that we've done on that is the heat embossing on the front to stamp that greeting in gold. But it's a really pretty colour combination, the Evening Evergreen Soft Succulent and a flash of gold. Beautiful. Right, let's put that to one side. And I think we need to do a bit of stamping this time round. I think, let's get this tree. Quite like this. I like them all, but I fancy having a play with that starry banner. We might come in with some of the other little bits, we will see. Now these are not yet got their labels on them, so So we will do that first. Let's peel the back off this long swirly one. Bring it round, start one end and bring it round like this and peel off, and then we'll do the same with our tree. Take the backing off. Take the backing off of here. Let's line this up. Peel that off. I'll put that in there. I'll bring in my some soft succulent card, I think, to start with. I'm going to cut this to 10 by 14. Got my tree stuck to the back of it. Let's take that off. I'm going to find my eye block. Now let's come in and do a bit of embossing buddying on here, dusting it over. And the reason that you use these is that it does help your fingers are naturally going to sort of be in them, be a little bit greasy. Pick up and use the card, you're going to transfer that, some of that, to your cardstock, and then when you come to sprinkle on your embossing powder, it is going to stick, because it will stick to anywhere where there's any moisture or anything. It will stick to your cardstock. So what you want to do is put a fine layer of that powder so that it soaks that up and prevents your embossing powder from sticking where you don't want it to stick. Right, so I'm going to bring this, stamp this across there. Obviously, you know, the wonders of video, you can't actually see anything. I may need to put some powder on in a minute just to see where we are going. I can sort of almost see a little bit of a splatter, so I'm just sort of coming down this cardstock a little bit, crisscrossing it with this stamp. I think one more, and this is where we're going to hope that actually there is something stamped on there. Let's bring in our embossing powder and let's see what we've actually stamped on our front of our card. So let's scoop up this powder and scatter it across the front of there and across the front of here. Now it looks like we might have a bit of over stamping in a couple of places, but that's okay, because, excuse me, battering you, we can then, she says with great certainty, come in with our little brush. What have I done? Here it is, straight in front of me. So we'll come in now with our little brush from our embossing kit and just tickle along the edges there and remove that excess powder. heat that up. Bring back in our magic tweezers. You want it to catch the light so that you can see where the dull powder is turning metallic. And then you'll know the heat tool has done its job. Not supposed to call them guns. Sets off all sorts of alarm bells with social media things. It is indeed a tool. I'm thinking we might go white card base for this one. So we've got some pretty gold banners in the background there. Rather lovely. Take a piece of basic white cardstock and our tree. Find, I think, our E block. We've had that out, haven't we? Let's mount that up on our E block. I'm going to lift that up a bit further. It does just sit on there, top to bottom. And ink this up with some Evening Evergreen ink. I seem to have a bit of excess ink around that top. Let's just wipe a bit of that off. I'm just going to press down on there. How pretty is that? So we have a nice Evening Evergreen tree. Let's trim this round, see how big we want to make it. About there. And make that 7 centimeters wide. We'll come in about there, and we'll make that 12. Let's bring that in a little bit more actually. 11.5. 11.5 by 7. We'll have our tree sitting on the top there like that. I'm just going to cut a piece of Evening Evergreen cardstock. That's right, 7.5 by 11. No, you didn't do that right, Helen. Needed to be 7.5 by 12. That's a bit better, isn't it? That's pretty. think I'm going to come in with this little sort of snowy effect. Again, I'm going to bring in my embossing buddy. And some Versamark. And let's have some snowy flakes coming around here. I probably am going to need to add the powder to this to see where I've stamped and where I haven't. Let's grab that. And our little brush. Heat emboss that. And catch it in the light so you can see it going from dull powder to sparkly gold. I'm going to actually take this piece of cardstock just here, and I'm just going to run my craft knife. It doesn't have to be anything too exact. Just going to take something else. We stick our tree to that. Give that a good press down. Oh, pressed it down and then flicked it up again. That's not good, is it? You really want that glue squidging in to that glitter card to hold it in place. wiggled my mouse at some point. Obviously having trouble with my internet this morning. That's it. So there we have our starry background. I have people up and about and it interferes with my internet. So we have a lovely background there of those stripy stars. We've got our lovely tree on the top there. We need a sentiment. I do love this Merry Christmas just here. Gorgeous font. We might use that. And let's have an oddment of basic white. I think we'll ink this up again with Evening Evergreen. Let's bring in my long scissors. And it was a bit wonky. That's a bit better. Trim it slightly this end and this end. And then I think we'll give that a background, a green glimmer card as well. Using the bit we've just cut out of the centre. You've got time to leave this to set in place before you start cutting. That's not a bad idea. Straighten that up a little bit where it was a little bit wonky where we cut it. So we'll stick this one down. A bit of an angle in the background there. And this one I think we'll put up on some dimensionals. We want a bit of a swirl of ribbon behind there. Why not? I think perhaps not quite so long as that. Yeah, about like that. Take some tear and tape. And we will stick this down here. just hold that ribbon down, and then we'll come over the top with our sentiment. Stick that down, and then we have a gold pearl at the top there, and perhaps a few little soft succulent ones on the tree. More for luck. Such a pretty stamp, that tree stamp. So, without using any die cutting, just using those gorgeous papers, glimmer papers, stamps, sentiments, from this Lights Aglow suite, we've created 2 pretty little Christmas cards that don't look like they could be made by an absolute, but absolutely could be made by an absolute beginner. The only punch we used was the one we used to punch out the center of the glimmer card. So the only technique you've got in there is a little bit of heat embossing. And as we all know, heat embossing is often the place where we all start. That is the original wow moment that gets us hooked. So I think every beginner should have a play with heat embossing at the earliest possible opportunity to get that first wow moment that gets us all hooked in. It's certainly what got me hooked 20 years ago, and I know that that is true for a lot of other people as well. So apologies for technical glitches in that video. I am going to have a little look at the internet. I know while I was away, my husband switched off the booster, so I'm wondering, A, has he done it again? And B, is there something not quite right with it that means that it's not boosting the internet as much as it should be? Or is it just that there's other folks up and about using the internet that's making it go a bit blurry? So apologies, I will look into those technical difficulties, but I hope you've enjoyed those quick and easy cards, and that you all have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you all again on Monday. Take care and look after yourselves. I would go off if I could get my mouse to actually click on the